So into the arena is the experienced figure of Meysam GHESHLAGHI. Brings to the ring an 8-bout professional record composed of 5 wins, 4 of them inside the distance, 2 losses and a draw. Last in the ring as a professional as recently as August, but he's another man who switches between the 3-round format of IBA and Olympic-style boxing and the professional ranks, and this is a marauding, big-hitting brawler. Possessed of plenty of skill.
Дамы и господа, приветствуйте, боксер из России, Али Измайлов!
His opponent is the undefeated Ali Izmailov. From Malgobek in Russia, resides in Detroit, Michigan in the United States of America. A perfect professional record, 13 fights, 13 wins, and 9 of them inside the distance for a 69% KO ratio. Indeed, none of his opponents have been able to hold him back because this man is a heavy-handed operator. But he's not all about offense. He utilizes the shoulder roll, slick on the inside as well, but he is heavy-handed indeed. Seen him knock out opponents with body shots perfectly placed, and he continuing his ascent up the rankings as he makes his way over to the gold corner.
Главное событие вечера – 10-раундовый поединок в полутяжелом весе. Представляю участников боя. Первый бойца в черном углу. Ему 27 лет, рост 178 сантиметров, официальный вес 82 килограмма и 50 граммов. Финалист чемпионата Азии среди любителей. Его рекорд насчитывает 8 боев, 5 побед при 2 поражениях и 1 ничьей, 4 яркие победы нокаутом, представляющий Байнорд Иран, Meysam GHESHLAGHI. Его сопернику в золотом углу 32 года, рост 182 сантиметра, вес 79,4 килограмма. Мастер спорта России, бронзовый призер чемпионата России, не знающий поражений с рекордом 13 боев. Во всех одержаны победы, 9 ярких побед нокаутом. Экс-чемпион WBO Global в полутяжелом весе, действующий чемпион IBF USBA в полутяжелом весе, представляющий Малгобек, Ингушетия, Россия, Али Измайлов. Рефери поединка Дмитрий Болдырев.
Gentlemen, listen to my command, follow the rules. Touch the gloves. Okay. Готовы?
So there is the tale of the tape
Готовы?
between these two muscular light heavyweights ahead of this contest scheduled
Ready?
for 10 3-minute rounds.
Box.
What a contest we have in store here. It's in the 79.4 or 1 kilogram or 175 pounder light heavyweight division between 2 heavy-handed individuals. The man wearing the black trunks trimmed with gold is Meysam GHESHLAGHI, 27 years of age, from Iran, former continental silver medalist in the 3-round format of IBA boxing, claiming that title in addition in 2021 in Jordan, where he was edged out by Shalbek Ruzmetov of Uzbekistan in the final on a 3-2 split. That gives you an idea as to this man's quality. Followed it up with a quarter-final run in the following year's continental event. Competed in the 2023 World Championships in Tashkent in Uzbekistan and attempted to qualify for the Olympics, only to be edged out at the quarter-final stage of the final qualifier in Bangkok. His opponent is Ali Izmailov, 32 years of age, scores with a good left jab to the body, 13 fights in his professional career after making his debut in August of 2019. He's boxed his pro career, the majority of his pro career in the United States, back boxing on Russian soil for the first time since March of 2020. But he's claimed continental titles. The IBF USBA crown is one that he snared and has defended successfully. Very patient individual. Now resides in Detroit. So you've got the deeper professional experience of the shaven-headed figure, Ali Izmailov, against the greater depth of three-round experience on the global and continental stage that has been accrued by Meysam GHESHLAGHI. I was anticipating a thunderous start between these two, but testament to their patience. They're trying to work their way into range before they let heavy leather go, and that's often the case when you get two heavy-handed knockout artists. So respectful of the firepower that may be coming back, it can be a little more tepid than one anticipated. But there, GHESHLAGHI trying to get busy. Nice defense on the inside as we see that shoulder roll, that Philly shell being employed by Izmailov. So the first round in the book. Some of the action from the opening round. Left hook success for Izmailov. Left jab success during that sequence for GHESHLAGHI. So we move into the second round of a light heavyweight contest that is scheduled for 10. Good jab to the body by the shaven-headed figure, Ali Izmailov. When he's over in the United States of America, the man in his corner is John David Jackson, former two-weight world champion, who's had a whole host of outstanding fighters under his auspices as a trainer, including Nate Galaxy Campbell, Bernard Hopkins briefly, Sergey Kovalev, Randall Bailey. So he's learning a whole heap on the man who, underneath the man who was the inaugural WBO light middleweight champ. Followed that up with a middleweight title for the WBA as well. But not in his corner tonight. But it's Izmailov on the front foot as GHESHLAGHI, aware of that, comes forward behind a right cross and kept the attack going. Mention the fact that GHESHLAGHI competed in Tashkent in the most recent edition of the World Championships during the course of that brilliant 2021 that he enjoyed, where he took that continental silver from the Asian Championships in Jordan. He was outpointed at the World Championships in the Serbian capital, Belgrade, by the man who would go on to claim silver, Alexei Alfirov of Belarus. We've seen Alfirov on the Champions Night stage in his home nation. GHESHLAGHI getting onto the front foot and targeting the body effectively. But both his trainer, John David Jackson, and his promoter, Dimitri Salita, and of course promoters are bound to back their man, that's part of what they do. But they feel that the hands of the shaven-headed figure, Ali Izmailov, are so heavy and he's such a composed, skillful operator that he is ready for the best. Oh, that's a clumping roundhouse right landed by Izmailov. But to their point and to that punch, They feel that his hands are so heavy and he possesses such concussive, fight-ending power that he is ready for the very best in the business. And remember, the light heavyweight division absolutely stacked. Artur Beterbiev, Dmitry Bivol, the Mexican monster David Benavidez. Beneath them, you've got men like Anthony Yarde, who's facing off against Benavidez next month in Saudi Arabia. A whole host of outstanding fighters. Dimitris Alita, the former world title challenger, and Ali Ismailov feel that, John David Jackson feel that Ali Ismailov is ready for that caliber of opponent. But here he is on the IBA.PRO stage, just takes a good right hand from GHESHLAGHI, but fires straight back with an authoritative jab. He's leaning back that shaven head out of the way of incoming fire, doing so in a straight line on occasion. Will GHESHLAGHI process that information and look to double up the attack and catch him in a compromised defensive position? Here's an example of the composure under fire from Ismailov. Again, pulling that head back in a straight line. GHESHLAGHI intelligently dropping down to the body. There. Operating out of the shell, turning. Chin clamped against his chest while answering the telephone with that right hand to fend off the incoming hook. So into the third round of a scheduled 10 we go, and now Ismailov onto the front foot, stalking his man. GHESHLAGHI up on his toes, which isn't a posture we see him adopt too often. He's the man normally seeking to be the flat-footed destroyer, applying front foot pressure. Good left jab shot out by Ismailov. Drops down to the body, perhaps in a bid to slow down the movement that is being demonstrated by GHESHLAGHI. Might be a little bit of a stretch to call it twinkle-toed, but he's gliding around the boxing ring effectively here at the Samara Academic Opera and Ballet House, perhaps taking some inspiration from the ballet dancers who opened this portion of the show. This is our penultimate contest, bout number 7 of an 8-fight card, and now sitting down on his shots a little more while shooting out that jab was GHESHLAGHI. Now he's back up on his toes, moving laterally left and right. Thrusting jab scored to the body from Ismailov. Good block of the incoming jab with the right hand from Ismailov. And again, applying pressure with his presence in his feet now, keeping GHESHLAGHI pegged towards the perimeter of the boxing ring and just quickening his feet and increasing the pressure, steadily turning the thumb screws. And not just the movement, but the concentration to keep this shaven-headed figure at bay will all be taxing the energy levels of GHESHLAGHI. There's another single lead left from Ismailov, which was heavy and accurate once more. So now GHESHLAGHI seeking to push his man backwards. Ismailov refusing to give ground, standing his ground, double left hook, body then head from GHESHLAGHI, before Ismailov getting back onto the front foot once again.
Okay.
Long bridging his man with the jab, that illegal of course. Mr. Dmitry Boldriev on that infraction in a flash, looking to bring the punches up from body to head was GHESHLAGHI. So a little bit of a change of approach from GHESHLAGHI. Started the round up on his toes. Now looking to walk his man down and push him backwards towards the perimeter of the boxing ring. Good burst of punches in that 4-shot combination to the body from GHESHLAGHI. Efficient movement being produced by Ismailov. Third round in the books. Some of the action from that third round, a round in which Meysam GHESHLAGHI gliding around the boxing ring laterally both left and right to begin the round, but then as the round progressed, got back to the posture that we are more accustomed to seeing him adopt, and that was on the front foot, looking to back his man up. But no change in the expression, Ali Izmailov, despite the pressure he was placed under at the end of the round. And I'm not sure there was enough of the pressure in that round to give it to GHESHLAGHI after he spent the first maybe 2 minutes of the round on his toes and often being pushed back as as Izmailov dialed up the pressure.
No wrestling, no wrestling. Stop.
Well, the instructions from referee Mr. Dmitry Bodriev clear. No wrestling during that coming together between these two strong light heavyweight boxers. GHESHLAGHI was just over the 79.4 light heavyweight limit, coming in at 82.05 kilograms. So, but in non-title bouts, that is permitted. As Izmailov trying to ride those shots, but was caught by an overhand right, followed by a left hook on the inside, and GHESHLAGHI driving his man backwards towards the neutral corner. Just using the ropes to steady himself was Izmailov. A bit of a mouse developing beneath his right eye. There he gets that right glove up to his temple to ward off the incoming fire once again, GHESHLAGHI. And this is the posture we're used to seeing him adopt in 3-round boxing. Meysam GHESHLAGHI. So halfway through this 4th round, mention the fact that GHESHLAGHI was just over the 79.4 kilogram light heavyweight limit. Izmailov was bang on 79.4 kilograms. Good left jab upstairs, right hook to the body from Izmailov, and then a left hook to the body, right hand over the top from GHESHLAGHI. And this is the type of contest we anticipated from the opening bell between these two hard-hitting boxer punchers. Yesterday's weigh-in was a rather generous gesture from Mr. Izmailov, presenting his opponent with clothing. Good right uppercut on the inside. I think he's got a clothing sponsor that ensures he's always fresh. If we were to rate his drip, he gave a bag full of clothes to Meysam GHESHLAGHI, and also presented a bag to Mr. Al Siesta, the promoter of note of IBA.PRO 12 here in Samara. Right uppercut sought underneath by GHESHLAGHI. Oh, that is a good right hand from GHESHLAGHI. Now he is beginning to push back the shaven-headed figure, who seldomly takes a backward step unless it's of his own volition. GHESHLAGHI looking for uppercuts on the inside, trying to create room for his punches. There's the bell to conclude the 3rd round, and this one heating up. Bit of a phone booth brawl during the majority, or for large portions of that 4th round.
You bend your head, okay? Okay. No wrestling, no punch, okay?
So some of the action from round number 4 as GHESHLAGHI got onto the front foot, seeking to pin his opponent against the ropes. Turn uppercuts underneath and hooks around the corner, and on that occasion he was able to do exactly that. So we move into round number 5. It's a light heavyweight contest scheduled for 10. GHESHLAGHI, look at how he's moving to his right to just prevent or try to cut off any lateral movement that Izmailov looking to employ. Again, the bodies of these men are so compact that when he puts his gloves up around his temples like that and bends over at the waist, there's very little to aim at. Mention the fact, or we've been mentioning throughout this broadcast, that in this era of boxing, it's not unusual for boxers to switch. As Izmailov scores with a good left jab to the body, but it's not unusual for boxers to switch between 3-round IBA boxing and the professional ranks. He was last in the ring as a pro when he scored a spectacular KO in August, right here in Russia, GHESHLAGHI. But then, since then, he was back in the ring in the 3-round format at the World Boxing Championships in Liverpool, organized under World Boxing. Lost in the first preliminary round to the man from Albania, Amar Kochi. But now he's back on the 3-round, on the pro stage of IBA.PRO boxing, and acquitting himself very well indeed against one of the best light heavyweight contenders in the world. Good right hand to the body scored by GHESHLAGHI, who's operating as a southpaw right now as he bustles his way forwards and scores effectively downstairs once again. And there's a 2-shot combination, left hook, right hand, and there's another right hand. And all of a sudden, Izmailov looking just a little uncomfortable, reddening around that shaven head because he's been touched up with some heavy leather by the 2021 Asian Continental silver medalist. He's put under pressure once again. Doesn't really give away anything with his body language or facial expressions, Izmailov. But through 2.5 minutes of this round, GHESHLAGHI seeking to bustle his way forwards. And he's been the man looking to apply pressure. Three-shot combination. Left hand to the head, right hand to the body, left hand to the head from Izmailov. Round number 5 in the books, a very good round for Meysam GHESHLAGHI. Some of the action from round number 5, where GHESHLAGHI was able to get onto the front foot, walk his man down, back him up, and keep him under pressure with his consistent punch output, fighting out of that crouch. Again, good composure demonstrated by Izmailov. Never unduly ruffled. As we prepare to go into the second half of the contest. So 5 rounds completed, a potential 5 rounds remain in this light heavyweight contest, scheduled for 10. The start of the bout was a rather circumspect affair, each man perhaps respectful, maybe even wary of the power possessed in the fists of their opponents. And then, in the second round, or in one of the earlier rounds, it was GHESHLAGHI up on his toes, gliding around the boxing ring here at the Samara Ballet House. But now, the more we go through the contest, the more it is beginning to resemble what we anticipated, and that is pressure being applied by Meysam GHESHLAGHI. Ali Izmailov hasn't elected to fight fire with fire. He's keeping his composure wonderfully. But again, with a minute gone in this 6th round, he's touched his opponent, but he hasn't really put much on his punches as he's caught with a left uppercut while again finding himself on the ropes. Turns the tables cleverly, fires back with an educated right hand lead out of that orthodox stance. It's the 4th consecutive contest here in Russia for Meysam GHESHLAGHI in the professional ranks.
Don't
Found
wrestle.
it.
Stop.
I'm not quite sure how I would characterize it as a hunting ground, because he drew his first contest here against the undefeated Andrei Stotsky back in November of last year. Then he, despite dropping his opponent, the undefeated Savali Sadoma, he dropped him with a heavy right hand in round 3, dropped a split decision then, but bounced back with a spectacular inside the distance win, scoring a third round TKO in a contest scheduled for 8. That was left hand perhaps a little bit low from GHESHLAGHI, but no complaints from Izmailov. Digging down to the body once again, GHESHLAGHI. Left hook upstairs, followed by a right hook from Izmailov.
Bang your head. No wrestling. Stop.
And Izmailov.
It's not wrestling. It's boxing. Okay?
Well, those instructions couldn't be clearer. I say instructions, it's perhaps more admonishment from referee Mr. Dmitry Boldriev. But when he went the distance for the 3rd time, most recent time he's gone the full course against Charles Foster. Wasn't criticism, but Izmailov, who had been knocking everybody out on such a consistent basis, did receive a few choice pieces of commentary from the online crowd. But Foster, he said, was really negative, and unbeknown to everybody, even his trainer John David Jackson, he was ill going into that contest. So not able to produce back in June of 2023 at the level that had become so readily associated with him.
Okay? And don't bang your head. No.
Well, referee Mr. Dmitry Boldriev making his way over to GHESHLAGHI's corner and reminding him once again that he wants to see less of the mauling and the grappling on the inside. But in between those bouts of wrestling at close quarters, there was plenty of accurate punch picking, particularly at close range from GHESHLAGHI. Educated jab from Izmailov, but look at that ending the exchange, that hard left hook dug into the body.
Box.
So we're moving to round number 7, and I just wonder at what point is Izmailov going to seek to assert himself in this contest here. He's content to play the back foot boxer and flick out jabs like that. When I say flick out, he's so heavy-handed that they're going to be loaded with pop and power by the time they arrive at their destination. But remember, some judges favor aggression. Effective aggression it has to be, of course. But through this passage of the round, the 40 seconds that we've witnessed, and I know back foot boxing is an art in itself, but it looks as though there is one man trying to make the fight, and that is Meysam GHESHLAGHI, the 3-round IBA format specialist from Iran. 2-shot salvo punctuated by a hard right hand from GHESHLAGHI. And Izmailov, who's normally, and he's not anything other than composed here, but on the back foot consistently. From GHESHLAGHI's point of view, it's difficult to KO a man who is moving backwards. And from Izmailov's point of view, it's difficult to score a KO if you are moving backwards.
No wrestling. Stop.
So halfway through this 7th round, as GHESHLAGHI continuing to seek to apply pressure. Izmailov initiating that clinch.
No wrestling. Okay?
And the referee reminding both men once again that he wants to see less grappling. Sneaky right hand fired out of the orthodox stance on the resumption from Izmailov, but finding himself backed up to the ropes once again by another furious fusillade of punches from both flanks from Meysam GHESHLAGHI. Quality single right hand lead out of the orthodox stance from Izmailov. Now the two men finding themselves clamped chest to chest once again.
Okay?
But the man stepping back into the breach and breaking the standoff by letting his hands go first is Meysam GHESHLAGHI, and that has been the pattern of this contest from at least about round number 4 onwards. Quality right uppercut scored on the inside from IZMAILOV, then turned his man cleverly after enjoying success prior to that. Counter left hook wasn't too far away from IZMAILOV, showing his quality in the face of this pressure that Meysam GHESHLAGHI is seeking to apply. Quality left hook once again, twice in quick succession from IZMAILOV, and that is a terrific conclusion to the round from Ali IZMAILOV in the face of the front foot pressure being applied by Meysam GHESHLAGHI. He kept his cool, picked his spot, and was able to score with some cracking quality single punches. Some of the action from round number 7. Pressure being applied by GHESHLAGHI, but ghosting away with IZMAILOV, and look at him turn the tables there, but not before he was picked off by a shot. But there, left hook on the inside, looking to slip out of the way of the counter, may have eaten a left uppercut. But at the conclusion of the round, for my money, there were some real quality punches picked by IZMAILOV as we move into the 8th round. Intriguing contest, this one, because from about the 3rd round onwards, well, so from round 4 onwards, once 3 rounds were in the book, it's GHESHLAGHI who's been the front foot stalker here. Good defenses with his right glove to fend off the incoming jab from IZMAILOV. And many observers, myself included, do talk about the power, because it's so intoxicating from IZMAILOV, but he's been at pains to point out that he possesses good defensive skills, which we have acknowledged as well, operating out of that Philly shell and using that shoulder roll, his calmness, his composure under pressure. And he's keen to point out that he possesses a fantastic ring IQ. Now, we've seen those qualities tonight, but have we seen enough offense? Certainly did that in the closing stages, or produced that in the closing stages of round number 7. There again, double jab to the body. First one to the abdomen, second one to the chest plate of the advancing GHESHLAGHI. So for GHESHLAGHI, he's got to make sure that he doesn't become one-dimensional and one-paced here. He steps back into the breach, only to be picked off by a check left hook from IZMAILOV, who spun off the line, but the two men increasingly finding themselves entwined on the inside once again. Well, I wonder at what point Mr. Dmitry Boldriev is going to lose his patience with one of these boxers and dock a point. Beautiful double left hand from IZMAILOV once more, looking for a counter left hand after the right hand from GHESHLAGHI was short. Well, he's been speaking to both men, but increasingly the admonishment is being directed towards Meysam GHESHLAGHI. And so the man who is ideally built for bombing away on the inside, perhaps feeling that part of his armory is having its wings clipped here, because when he gets inside, that's the telling off that he's invariably receiving from the referee, Mr. Dmitry Boldriev. And look, right here, he should be getting those hands free and digging away downstairs. But instead, he's keen to show the ref that he's not the guilty party in terms of applying the clamp. Fatigue will be becoming an increasing factor now. You can hear their exhalations audible when they fall together on the inside from the effects mic. Effects mics that are placed above the ring at the Samara Academic Opera and Ballet House. And again, IZMAILOV just showing perhaps his deeper level of professional experience here. This man, so much experience in the 3-round format, with World Championship appearances in Belgrade 2021 and Tashkent 2023, Olympic qualifiers. Thailand last year, and he's really sucking in oxygen, trying to get his energy levels back to as close as optimal as they can be after 8 completed rounds of boxing. But Izmailov, very efficient display. And he's turned things back around for my money after being outworked through the middle rounds. In the last couple of rounds, his quality of punch picking has been eye-catching and notable indeed. So, can GHESHLAGHI do something to seize the momentum? Because for my money, that quality lies with Izmailov. Hasn't done anything discernibly different, but he's just increased his quality, scored with eye-catching singles. His defenses have been effective as you see him warding off those backhands being slung in by GHESHLAGHI. And in the meantime, he is snapping out an incessant jab from those muscular shoulders. GHESHLAGHI perhaps sensing that the momentum has slipped, marauding his way forwards and ends with a 2-shot combination to the body, the final one of which might have been low on the blind side of the referee. Left hook landing on the golden belt line of Izmailov. But again, no complaint from the man from Malgobek, based in Detroit in the United States. So credit to GHESHLAGHI, because there's been a quickening of the tempo here in a bid to get himself back in contention. 6 rounds of boxing potentially remaining, the finish line in the distance. And again, when sharing the ring, oh, now that is a clear shot after the command of stop from GHESHLAGHI, and he must be boxing on the edge of the rule book. Sharp left hand from Izmailov, but countered by a flurry of punches from GHESHLAGHI, and GHESHLAGHI picking up the tempo once again, scores with a cracking right cross on the inside. And now Izmailov looking to box off the back foot, chopping left hand not too far away, followed by a cuffing right hook, but then finding his back against the ropes and looking to dig downstairs was GHESHLAGHI. Good right hand to the body once again from GHESHLAGHI. Counter left hand not too far away from Izmailov. Now it's Izmailov looking to edge his way forward, only to find GHESHLAGHI on his chest once again, and these body punches absolutely being ripped downstairs by both boxers. And the crowd appreciating this hard-fought tussle that they're witnessing in the light heavyweight division. Looking for a Hollywood right uppercut was Izmailov. Left hook with his back against the ropes in the face of the advancing GHESHLAGHI. More wrestling tactics on the inside in evidence once more. Headlock being applied by GHESHLAGHI, putting all of his 82.05 kilograms onto the neck of Izmailov, and that is a tactic that can fatigue a fighter rapidly. There's a good right hand. Came behind a double jab which was off the mark, but the right hand was right on the money from GHESHLAGHI. Izmailov seeking to counter as the bell sounded to conclude round number 9.
Last round, touch gloves. И он тоже нарушает. Я ему тоже говорю.
Well, let's take a look at some of the action from round number 9. GHESHLAGHI got back to his front foot pressure after being picked off by some quality singles in rounds 7 and 8 by Izmailov. That was a shot on the break. That could well be a case of sorry, not sorry. It's a good job that Izmailov has a sturdy set of whiskers serving as punch resistance, because he barely blinked having taken that left hook. We move into the 10th and final round. What a light heavyweight contest this has been so far. Two compact, muscular, light heavyweight box punches. First round was rather circumspect as each man perhaps reticent to let their hands go, wary of what might come back. Then in the second round, we saw the really rare spectacle, rare as hen's teeth, of GHESHLAGHI up on his toes and gliding laterally around the boxing ring. But thereafter, it has settled into the type of contest we anticipated. Although having said that, Izmailov has spent far more time on the back foot than I thought he would. In rounds 7 and 8, there was some real quality in evidence from Izmailov. Singles, like that left hook right there. In round 9, GHESHLAGHI swarmed his way back into the contest after the momentum perhaps shifted in Izmailov's favor. And so we come down to the 10th and final round in a contest that, for my money, is really close. You can make an argument for both boxers. Left hook is a clever shot once again, see, because Izmailov's successes have often been of the single shot variety, but the man taking the fight to his opponent. And there's another example, right cross landed without reply from Izmailov. But swarming his way forwards with marauding attacks has been GHESHLAGHI, and when he has landed, it's been punches in bunches, and even when they haven't landed, he's given the impression of being the busier boxer. So how will the 3 scoring judges see it if indeed we go to the 10-round distance just beyond the halfway stage of this final round? Again, something I find rather surprising to see GHESHLAGHI, to see Izmailov on the back foot as much as he has been on the back foot tonight. But he's keen to demonstrate that he's not just a power punching slugger, which of course aren't bad qualities to possess. But as he played into GHESHLAGHI's hands here tonight by conceding ground and allowing himself to be backed up, approaching 30 seconds remaining in the final round. And remember, every modicum of success that Izmailov has enjoyed has been cheered to the rafters here at the Samara Academic Opera and Ballet House. Even though he resides in the United States, he is the home fighter, and he is being encouraged enthusiastically by the fans in attendance here in these salubrious halls. So there's the 10-second clapper, and now both men standing toe-to-toe. Cuffing right hook landed on the inside by Izmailov. And on the bell, both men letting their hands go right up until the conclusion of the contest. Well, that is a really intriguing bout. And again, look at the body language, and it's often so instructive from boxers, because it was a rather subdued performance overall from Ali Izmailov. There were pockets of quality, like that right uppercut turned underneath there. But the greater volume of success, the greater volume of punches thrown came from Meysam GHESHLAGHI, for my money. I think it's incredibly close, but if I had to put my money on one boxer, I think it would be the man from Iran.
И промоутер и генеральный директор IBA.PRO Al Siesta, а также
Denis Lebedev looking on. So these perhaps going to be nervous moments for the boxers here now, because the presentation party has just been introduced. Then it's a rather pensive look on the face of Ali Izmailov. But has he done enough? GHESHLAGHI, through those middle rounds, was on the front foot, taking it to Izmailov. And he was in no doubt when the bell sounded that he had done enough, and I am inclined to agree. Very close contest. I've got it 6-4 in favor of GHESHLAGHI, but that could well be, well, it is irrelevant, because the verdict will come down to the observations of the 3 scoring judges who are using the 10-point must system. And again, some of the rounds very close. Which way were the close rounds scored? Could well be split. Again, could be unanimous if all of the close rounds were scored in one
Дамы и
direction.
господа,
Here's the
прежде
verdict.
чем прозвучит имя победителя, ваши аплодисменты обоим боксерам. Итак, по завершении 10 ярчайших раундов бокса обратимся к судейским запискам. Судья 1 – 97-93. Судья 2 – 96-94. Судья 3 – 97-93. Таким образом, единогласным решением судей победу по очкам одержал и остается не знающим поражений Али Измайлов.
Well, Ali Izmailov declared a unanimous point decision victor over the incredibly game Meysam GHESHLAGHI, the two men combining to produce a fantastic contest. Very competitive indeed. The fans in the house here in Samara delighted that it's the home boxer who has been declared as the victor. Not the most demonstrative of characters, but it's a rather subdued Ali Izmailov who's accepting applauded after that unanimous points decision verdict.
Леонид Михайлович и Дмитрий Игоревич. Дмитрий Игоревич нет здесь, да? Так, дайте мне. Леонид Михайлович Кац, правильно? Я вас поздравляю, во-первых, за участие в нашем турнире IBA.PRO в первом. Невероятная поддержка от вас была. Вам понравилось, честно скажите?
Да, конечно. Все понравилось.
Спасибо огромное. Ваша ООО Ambient Group – это наш партнер IBA.PRO и нашего турнира. От всей души благодарю вас. Вот вам почетная грамота от нас. Она очень много означает, я вам обещаю. Очень скромный человек, но очень добрый, серьезный и профессиональный. Благодарю вас еще раз. Спасибо. Мистер Исаев, вы моя легенда. Я тот иппон на Олимпиаде помню, на очень давно запомнил. Я сам очень люблю дзюдо. Это для меня большая честь иметь на турнире вот нашего чемпиона олимпийского. Благодарю вас, спасибо от всей души.
Спасибо большое за теплые слова. Добрый вечер, дорогие друзья. Вы знаете, на самом деле, я впервые вижу, как в театре проходит спортивное событие. И скажу, что, наверное, вид из царской ложи очень прекрасен. Поэтому, видите, не только можно совместить культуру в этом прекрасном зале, но и спорт. Это всегда, я думаю, что было рядом. Творчество и спорт, они всегда были с друг другом рядом. Поэтому всем хорошего вечера, красивых боев. И, конечно же, я поздравляю тех ребят, которые сегодня выступили здесь. Действительно, был очень такой конкурентный, равный, тяжелый бой. И нашего гостя из Республики Иран тоже можно очень сильно похвалить. Он отдал все свои силы, показал характер. Вот. И хочу пожелать вам всем большой удачи и на мировой арене.
Огромное вам спасибо. Дмитрий Кудряшов, Russian Hammer, русская кувалда, прямо здесь. Добро пожаловать на стадион, друг мой.
Я приветствую всех любителей бокса, несмотря на то, что мы находимся в театре, точнее, мы находимся в театре и видим вот эту настоящую драму на ринге. За это, я думаю, нужно выразить огромную благодарность боксерам, потому что они устраивают это для нас, бокс высочайшего уровня. Спасибо Альберту Сиеста, его я знаю, наверное, с начала своей боксерской карьеры, и он всегда за такие жесткие противостояния. Поэтому я уверен, что вам всем понравилось, что происходит здесь в ринге. И всем людям, которые поддерживают бокс, которые смотрят, любят бокс, хочется сказать огромное спасибо. И чтобы на этом ваша поддержка не заканчивалась и наш любимый вид спорта развивался.
А что касается совмещения искусства и спорта, в IBA.PRO все возможно. Умар Назарович, спасибо за эту идею совмещения. Благодарю вас. Все, до скорых встреч, до следующего боя, друзья.
So words of support